saying around at the top level, which you're doing your ethnographic or demographic. We do behavior and attitude-based segmentation. So you have it that broad base. Then you had mentioned you go into qual, which we do the same thing. Go into qual, but at that point, when you get into qual, I mean you're looking usually at 10 to 20 people versus thousands at the top, and then even as you go down, probably more even detailed on super specificity about how they open an email and move. I mean, like, how are you able to take what might be feedback from the 10 to 20 people and feel like you got the right information to activate that's going to be relevant to that much broader population?
Well, really what we did was it was a mix of, your quant and your qual. So it was looking at what what was being said in these specific focus groups or in the, in the one-on-ones or even in a larger focus group of 10 to 15 people. And then also matching that up with your quantitative research. So all the surveys that you've done and really, trying to see if there was alignment. And what I can say, I could say this without a shadow of a doubt. And I was skeptical as well, saying, well, how do we know what these 5 individuals are saying is really kind of speaking for the whole demographic? And what I could say with a few minor tweaks, it was basically depending on, I would say, like what region you were going into, whether it was the East Coast or the West Coast, the answers from a specific demographic group was pretty much, I would say about 90% accurate as to what they were all doing or where they were seeing the information.
So you felt like what the biggest differentiation in your mind was, you had mentioned this, is more cities by region of the country, more so than any kind of behaviors or attitudes they might have?
I would say it was a combination of both. Each played a very significant role. I would say, we knew that a specific demographic in the whole U.S. reacted a certain way, or we had general feedback and general data that suggested that. But once you went down into the specific regions, what was a little bit surprising was there were, I would say, indescript cadences or, for example, the West Coast was more open to receiving a direct mail. Why? I couldn't tell you what made them a little bit more prone to receiving it than somebody on the East Coast. But on the East Coast, we, with the focus groups and the surveys that we received, there was basically every single person in our demographic shut it down and said they wouldn't look at it, they would throw it away right away. So it was just a different response that was coming, like just from an East Coast, West Coast. In the Central, they were much more open to emails, and they would read their emails later in the day. So it was just, and the same thing goes for the West Coast. The West Coast was reading their emails earlier in the day. It was just different little cadences that they were doing that was really making our consumer journey really like fine-tuned for each market or each key city.
And so would you say, this is helpful. So when you talk about like consumption, when you talk about you're going to have to try and get to these people in some way, whether it be through TV, digital, a lot of it's digital today,
Right.
and so you're going to have to reach them. And maybe there's going to be stuff in store or wherever else, but let's just say that media. And so then as you looked across the different regions of the country, on that behavior alone, would you say that you saw some similarities that then actually when you went across your different businesses, whether it be Nespresso, the other one was coffee as well, or Sprint, was that general behavior relevant irregardless of the category?
The one, I would say the one behavior that we saw across the board, that I've seen across the board in different companies, and that I continue to see growing, is the use of mobile devices for their any kind of internet searching or any kind of advertising serving should be done for mobile devices, because that's what people are looking. I would say more than 75% of their research is done on mobile device, and that we learned in every single research that I've done in every